What's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back at another video. Like the content in this video, go smash that like button. The content in this channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so the Ravens have officially wrapped up their 2024 NFL Draft, and we're going to talk about Day 3 right now. Picks that I like, confusing picks. We already know which one I'm probably talking about here. And, just my overall thoughts about the draft, right? And then tomorrow we'll probably talk about, lessons learned from this NFL draft from the Ravens and what we expect to see next season, right? All right, so today let's just talk about Day 3, all right? So round 4, wide receiver Tez Walker, North Carolina. Cornerback TJ Tampa from Iowa State. Round 5, Rasheen Ali, running back, Marshall. Round 6, quarterback, Devin, Leary, Kentucky. Round 7, Nick Samak, center from Michigan State. And then the last pick of the draft for the Ravens, Sanusi Kane, safety from Purdue, right? Okay, so let's start with my favorite pick of this draft, for Day 3 of this draft, right? And that's definitely going to be Tez Walker, right? So Tez Walker from North Carolina is a guy that had a lot of big time expectations coming into draft season, right? He had a little bit of an inconsistent combine. I think, and he was either at the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl. He was at one of those, All-Star games at the end of the season, right? And he had some job issues, right? So that's the one thing that's going to be there with Tez Walker is some inconsistent hands, right? Now the Ravens have dealt with wide receivers in the past inconsistent hands, and they may do with it, right? But the thing that he adds to the Ravens, the thing that is going to be most important that he can do if he can get on the field year one is that he is a deep threat. Everything that Rashad Bateman wasn't in terms of being a deep threat, a field stretcher guy like that, Tez Walker is that is his game. So whether it's running past running past defensive backs, whether it's going up and getting the ball, that's what he does, right? So we're talking about a guy 6'1", 190 pounds, 4.36 in the 40, so absolutely flying down the field, right? So 4.3 speed. When Eric DeCosta talked about Tez Walker, he said that he reminded him of Torrey Smith, right? Now, Torrey Smith came with some good and some bad. Torrey Smith, best play was drawing the pass interference downfield, but seriously, he was a deep threat that every team had to respect when he was on the field, right? He was going to run past your corners. He was going to run past your safeties. And with Joe Flacco having that big arm, he can get down there. Similar to this with Tez Walker, he's going to run past your corners, run past your safeties. With Lamar Jackson having his big arm, he can get the ball down the field, right? So the Ravens were sorely missing this exact skill set in their offense, right? I've talked about it before in the past, right? They tried to replace Hollywood Brown with Rashad Bateman in terms of a deep threat. They never really replaced a true deep threat on this team, right? And unfortunately for Rashad Bateman, he was forced to fill into that role that it wasn't for him. Now, with Tez Walker here, Bateman doesn't have to worry about that as his main role. Of course, he will go down the field sometimes deep as well, but he can do kind of the Odell Beckham thing, slants, digs, curl routes, hitch routes, things that really show off his intermediate route running, which he's really good at, right? So, for me, this pick made all the sense in the world. A+ pick. I absolutely love the pick. When I was talking about the Ravens need to draft a wide receiver, I said it needs to be somebody that who will stretch the field and take the top off the defense. That's exactly what Tez Walker brings you. All right, so love the pick. All right, TJ Tampa, physical press corner. To me, the biggest thing that this signals is that the Ravens are very how can I say they are worried about the future of Jalen Armour-Davis, right? Or you could just say they wanted to bring in competition for him. However you want to slice it, TJ Tampa is direct competition for Jalen Armour-Davis, right? Mainly an outside corner, mainly a guy that has that bigger physical frame. I think TJ Tampa's like 6', 6'1", 190 pounds, right? So he's pretty much a Jalen Armour-Davis direct competition. So it's going to be up to Armour-Davis to really beat this guy out in training camp to earn his spot on the roster. The Ravens had to deal with Armour-Davis with consistent play, a lot of healthy scratches, and also just injuries as well. So when you put everything on top of that like that, it makes a lot of sense where the Ravens were like, we need to get some more cornerbacks here. Okay, so people thought, Pepe is done as well. Well, Pepe's more of a slot, right? And the Ravens have a lot of slots. Now, if you want to talk about now, Marlon Humphrey can play slot. Kyle Hamilton, obviously, they still got Millette, Darius Washington. That's where Pepe kind of gets bumped out as, right? They already have a lot of slots on this team, so no guys that can play in the slot. So that's kind of where Pepe gets bumped out at, right? So Armour Davis, this TJ Tampa pick, that's the one that kind of bumps him out unless he can beat this guy out, right? So I like the pick. He's a guy that a lot of people had in the second round. Ravens got him in round 4. I'm good with that all day. All right. Running back, Rasheen Ali. Okay, so this is a guy who's been a touchdown machine. 39 touchdowns in 2021, third among running backs. 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns last season. The Ravens need to add another running back to the run. And one thing I like about Rasheen Ali is that he's another guy that can hit the home run. I think they said he had 7 plays of like 50 plus yards last year, 6 runs, 1 catch. So decent receiver as well. This made a lot of sense for me. What the Ravens did on day 3 made a lot of sense. Okay, so you get your field stretcher wide receiver, you get another corner, you get a running back that the Ravens said they were going to draft a running back, and this guy here they drafted him right now. The only thing about Rasheen Ali right now is that he is injured, right? I believe he tore his pec or his bicep, something like that, at the Senior Bowl. So how quickly we see him on the field or how soon we see him on the field, I don't know. That's up in the air, right? And for a rookie, you would love to see a rookie get as many reps as possible in terms of like, OTAs, rookie mini camp, all those kind of things. That's just not going to happen for him, I don't think. I don't think he's going to be ready for training camp. But I could be wrong about that, so but I'm just throwing it out there. All right. And we're going to talk about the 6th round pick in Devin Leary, but let's just, because that one is probably going to have a bigger discussion. But 7th round pick, Nick Samac, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but we're going to go with Samac, right? Center, Michigan State, 3-year starter, decent strength. He fits to a T the zone blocking scheme that the Ravens have with Tom Munkin. So from that perspective, it makes sense, right? He's a backup center for Tyler Linderbaum. He's also a bigger center, 6'4", 307 pounds, which is a little bit different than Tyler Linderbaum, right? Now, for Samac to make complete sense, I would like him to have the ability to play guard, all right? The Ravens drafted a center-only backup. This will make this draft pick maybe just a B minus C plus, right? If they got a guy that can play center and guard, then I'm a little bit higher on it, right? But if he's a center only, listen, I know we need a backup center, right? McCurry was the backup for all 5 positions, and that's a lot to ask for one person, right? So you need a true backup center. I would like Samac to be able to play center and guard. If you can do both, great. All right. Then Sanusi Kane, safety. I think this guy's gonna be more of a special teamer first year. So run and hit kind of safety. He's gonna give all types of effort. This coach described him as a warrior on the field. So I think he's gonna be a good special team guy, right? If he makes the team, right? And when you start talking about 6th, 7th round, these guys aren't guarantees to make the roster. But if they are gonna make the roster, some of it has to do with special teams. So Sanusi Kane, that's probably going to be a special teams kind of player. All right. Now, round 6, let's talk about Devin Leary. All right. So the Ravens draft Devin Leary, quarterback from Kentucky. All right. He transferred in from, I believe, North Carolina State and played his final season at Kentucky. All right. So this was a guy that I believe last season probably has aspirations of going somewhere between rounds 2 and 4. All right. Transferred, had an okay season, 2,700 yards throwing. Passing, I should say, 25 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 12 interceptions, excuse me. And come out this year, 6th round pick. All right. So for the Ravens, let's talk about it. All right. I get the idea, right? Quarterbacks are a very, very hot commodity, right? You look at a team like the Eagles, right, who kind of collects quarterbacks to either trade them or has someone on their roster to, maybe back up their guy. But, when the Eagles had Carson Wentz, they brought in Jalen Hurts. Then they had Jalen Hurts, they brought in Marcus Mariota. They traded some of these guys, got draft picks for them, things like that. You develop guys, you sit them, you trade them, right? Even the Eagles bringing in a guy like Tanner McKee, right? This 6'6" big quarterback who's nothing like Jalen Hurts, right? I think that's what the Ravens want to do. I think the Ravens want to be able to develop a quarterback, have that quarterback play well in, say, preseason or very, very limited action, then have a team want that quarterback and be able to trade for him, right? Also, the Ravens really don't have a backup quarterback on the roster, right? Josh Johnson is an older guy, right? He keeps signing 1-year deals repeatedly. And Malik Cunningham they haven't committed to whether or not Malik Cunningham is going to be a wide receiver or a quarterback. They just keep saying we have plans for him, right? They asked John Harbaugh directly about Malik Cunningham, being a quarterback, and they're non-committal about it, right? So from that perspective, right, the Ravens do not have a backup quarterback on the roster, right? They have guys that can play backup quarterback, but they haven't committed to any of them, right? This isn't like when the Ravens had Tyler Huntley and we knew, okay, that's your number 2 guy, right? It's not that right now. So Devin Leary has a chance to have an open competition to play backup quarterback. Is it a pick that I was expecting to see? Hell no. I wouldn't think the Ravens were taking a quarterback at all. But I understand it. I think they could have used that pick on another guard, another offensive lineman. But if you look at it from the perspective of quarterbacks are commodities, you could try to trade them a year or 2 down the line. Okay. The Ravens don't have a true backup quarterback on the roster. Okay. But at the end of the day, I'm just not too much of a fan of this pick just because he doesn't really match the play style of Lamar Jackson. Now, this is the last part right here, right? What I just said. He doesn't match the play style of Lamar Jackson. So, to me, this tells me that now this could mean nothing, right? He could have just been the guy that they wanted to draft. But typically, the Ravens have gone with athletic backup quarterbacks, guys that had, running capability, right? When back up Lamar Jackson. Maybe this says that this year in this offense, they're not going to depend on Lamar Jackson to run the ball as much, right? So having a quarterback who doesn't run the ball really like that is a way to say, hey, look, this is the direction the offense is going in with Lamar, right? He's going to be able to do more drop back passing kind of things. Obviously, he'll still run the ball. You can't take that away from Lamar Jackson. It's a very, very valuable asset that he has. But we're going to be more focused on the drop back passing game, right? That's just speculation. I don't know, but a quarterback that's different, you can see these things, right? Not saying Devin Leary is a bad athlete or anything like that, but he's a very different quarterback than what Lamar Jackson is, right? So that's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on day 3 of the NFL draft. I like what the Ravens did in terms of getting TJ Tampa, getting Tez Walker, and then they basically solid things to kind of round out the draft, right? You get a backup center, hopefully you can play some guard. You draft a running back that has some juice, some pop to him, right? To see when he go on the field. And the only thing that's going to be a question mark for me and a lot of Ravens fans is that what does Devin and Leary mean to the Ravens, right? Is this backup competition kind of thing? Are they, what does this mean, right? What does it mean for Malik Cunningham, right? Is this just a straight competition or are they moving him to a different position, right? So these are all questions that are going to be answered during the summer. And yeah, man. So give me your thoughts on the Ravens day 3 draft. Give me your grades for it, and we'll talk about it in the comments, man. But that's my thoughts on it. It's Gabriel, still on the Fan TV. I'm out.